I am delighted to inform the House that I have secured a budget of almost €12 billion, which is a 9% increase on the funding achieved in Budget 2024. There is an increase of €712 million in core current funding and an increase of over €360 million in core capital funding compared to the original National Development Plan allocation for 2024. So these are the headline figures, but my focus in Budget 25 is very much on what it means for school staff, for parents and for families. I meet with parents the length and breadth of the country, and I know how stressful, how challenging and indeed how difficult it can be for parents. One parent said recently to me that they felt like they were on a hamster wheel, and I really do get that. So in Budget 2025, I'm announcing that the free books scheme will cover all students from primary school right through to the completion of the Leaving Certificate examinations. This will alleviate the financial pressure on the parents of 940,000 students. It's important to acknowledge and to thank our school leaders and school staff for their work and commitment in implementing the free school book scheme this year, and indeed for all they do in so many ways for the young people in their care in the world of education. In relation to the school book scheme, the Department of Education will allocate an administration support grant to primary, special and post-primary schools again in the 25-26 school year, based on the size of the school to assist with the additional work required. I know that finding special education school places can be an enormous stress for parents also, so in this budget we're going to hire another 1,600 special needs assistants and 768 additional special education needs teachers. That will open up 2,700 school places next year for children with additional education needs. I do acknowledge that there have been delays in finding places for some children with additional education needs this year. But I welcome the fact that the National Council for Special Education have confirmed to me that they have 24 places available for the 16 children still in need of them, and that the issues regarding these needs for school places will be resolved in the coming days. Since becoming Minister for Education over 4.5 years ago now, I have prioritised the Summer Provision Programme, and I am pleased to confirm that this budget provides over €65 million in permanent funding for the summer programme for children with special education needs and indeed students at risk of education disadvantage. I'm also pleased to confirm we have had a 20% increase in the number of schools offering the summer programme this year, and this permanent funding will allow us to continue to cater for the continued growth of the summer programme into the future. I know too that mobile phones in schools are an issue of enormous concern to parents, and I'm going to provide funding to secondary schools to procure mobile phone pouches or other storage solutions so that students get a mental break from their phones during the school day. I have heard some deputies criticise the €9 million allocation for this scheme as a waste of money. But I have made this decision based on international research, which has highlighted the negatives of having mobile phones available in the classroom and in school grounds. Last year, a report by UNESCO, the UN's education agency, recommended that smartphones be banned from schools to improve learning and tackle classroom disruption and cyberbullying. UNESCO cited evidence that removing smartphones from schools in Belgium, Spain and the United Kingdom improved learning outcomes. It noted that having a mobile phone nearby with notifications coming through is enough to result in students losing their attention from the task at hand. One study, in fact, found that it takes students up to 20 minutes to refocus on what they were learning once distracted. I do believe this new scheme will support positive well-being among all our pupils. It will help them to learn in their classrooms, make friends and engage with one another without the distractions that can arise from the mobile phones. I know too that many parents feel under pressure to support their schools with voluntary contributions. That is why I am increasing the state funding for primary and secondary schools known as capitation grants by 12%. That's in addition to the 9% increase in capitation last year. This will improve the funding that schools have available to them to cover their costs. And we're also going to provide €45 million for schools from the cost of living package to help with their day-to-day running costs such as heating, insurance and electricity. We're going to ensure also that our schools continue to have a supply of excellent teachers with budget initiatives such as the new bursary for science, technology, engineering and maths teachers. This will provide student teachers in the third and fourth year of certain STEM undergraduate initial training education qualifications with a €2,000 payment each year for the final 2 years of their programme. There is a clawback provision. Any student teacher getting the payment will be required to undertake in writing to refund the payment in the event of them not completing a minimum of 2 years consecutive service in schools. Up to 800 student teachers are expected to be eligible for the bursary from the 2025-26 academic year. I know the importance also of providing career progression for our existing teachers. That is why I'm announcing there will be 1,000 additional school posts of responsibility. We will also have free upskilling courses for staff and funding for the new primary curriculum and senior cycle reform. We have a significant package in the budget to tackle education disadvantage, with more education supports available for children who are at risk of leaving school early. We will also commence the rollout of the Traveller and Roma Education Strategy, which I was pleased to launch recently. Finally, I'm including 2 other significant measures in the budget to help parents with the cost of living. I'm going to continue to exempt junior cycle and leaving certificate students from the usual exam fees for their exams. And I'm going to keep reduced school transport scheme fees in place for families, which will remain at €50 for a primary school student, €75 for a post-primary student and €125 for a family ticket. I'm also keen to progress the recommendations in the latest ever review of the school transport scheme, and provision has been made for that. Finally, I would draw your attention to the capital budget for school buildings, which is increasing by over €360 million to €1.3 billion next year. This will allow us to progress over 350 school building projects, which are already underway, and to bring another 200 school building projects to construction. Overall, the education budget is worth almost €12 billion, the single highest amount ever. I believe it will help reduce costs for parents and families, as well as continuing to improve our vital education system.